I have 3 kids.
Yep.
And obviously I'm married, and I love them all very much. So I think, though, if I'm being really honest about love, it's loving people who exude kindness.
Yep.
So it's a kind of subconscious collective love. That's probably my most considered and authentic answer. So I love kindness.
I've got a little family, and so they're that'd absolutely who I love the most. I mean, obviously you meet someone special like my wife, and then have some kids, and they become the most important thing. How about you?
For me, I've been very split up through my upcoming with living in hospital and living at home. I've probably spent a third of my life in a hospital. So it was a bit harder to get attached, really, I guess.
Yeah.
It's very much, now it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
And that's very much how it went that way. Yeah, so the person, well, it wasn't a person, it was actually a dog.
Yeah, right.
That I fell in love with.
Yeah, okay.
And I had her since I was about 8 years old.
Okay, what was her name?
Tiger.
Tiger.
And we always had a bet which one's going to die first.
Yeah.
Luckily she did, but I might not be far off it.
It's quite interesting for me because I was trying to figure out who it was that I loved the most the other day when somebody asked me the question. And for me, I think it's not a person, because I think all of my friends are sort of equally loved. But I've just got myself a cat.
I actually had a mate who I worked with for a long time, and he was a good friend, Mark, and we worked very closely. He was a bit of a sort of mentor for me. He was a bit older than me, and he actually got diagnosed with cancer, and he had a long battle, and he didn't have a wife or kids or anything, so I ended up becoming very close to him. And whilst it was, when he did pass away, whilst it was a horrible loss, I actually gained a lot from that as well, because he didn't have anybody else. I became a really good mate with him and sort of helped him through his illness and everything. It was a really special time. So it was a loss, but there were some special moments in there as well.
Yeah, lots of silver linings.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to have a lot of drumstick ice creams together. I still remember that.
Yeah, I guess from my perspective, we were a poor household. So I, and it was 12 of us in a 2-bedroom house. So I was pretty keen on fighting my way out of that.
Getting out of there, yeah.
So I learnt pretty early on the hustle, and I reckon from about probably 12 years old, I was selling random stuff like stationery at school and earning myself. So I was always going to be entrepreneurial, whether that was DNA or circumstance, I don't know. I fell in love with food and beverage, and in particular coffee, because coffee was a ceremonial ritual in our household. We had coffee all the time when people came over, and I loved the smell, and it was a very transporting drug. And so I, combined the hustle with what I loved and became a coffee guy, I guess.
Who was my hero and why? For me, it was just people along the way who saw me and said, wow, like, good job. And it's like, where'd you see me again? And I go, oh, from the jet ski trip. Ah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I think my hero would be obviously my parents. But other to that, it's just trying to get that, I don't know what you call it, almost that thank you. And the first time I ever actually had to give a thank you was when I got my double lung transplant. Because of course, my donor family was the ones there who saved my life. So I wrote a thank you letter and sent it off to them and that sort of thing. And that's pretty cool, you know, my donor, my hero.
Hero for me, it's a hard one in terms of picking a hero. Well, I suppose people like yourself that are faced with some big challenges, they're the people that really stand out. Those that are in the face of adversity, they decide, you know what, I'm gonna do something about this. I'm not just gonna take it and run with it. I'm gonna do something about it and let the world know and see what we can do. So people like yourself and many other people that really do that and take it on the chin and try and change it for everybody else as well, they're the heroes I think that need to be celebrated.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate.
Thank you. Well, the reason I asked you for a card game originally was because of a little saying that I say. And it's everyone is born with a set of cards, just like in poker. The only difference is if you get a 7 and a 2 or a royal flush. But if you're sitting at the table with a 7 and a 2 and can make everyone else think you got that royal flush, then hey, you might just have a shot of the big stuff.
Yeah.
I believe that's how you should live your life.
How you play your cards.
That's it.
Yeah.
Every dog has its day.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks for the game of cards, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers. My name's Coen Ashton. I've had a double lung transplant and I'm now looking for a new set of kidneys. Please help me tell my story. Go to the link below.